Let's talk about unsupported MacBooks being updated. Basically, if you didn't know, MacBooks and iMacs usually have 8 years of support before they won't get the newest software. Like a 2014 MacBook Pro ran macOS Big Sur, which is one of the 3 newest macOSs, right? Perfectly, might I add. But after Big Sur, it officially couldn't run anything else. Now, if you did have an older MacBook you wanted to update but wasn't supported, then you could use Mr. Macintosh's video and you could install macOS Monterey fully, right? But you do need a USB drive though for it, so I'm not gonna explain it. I found a shortcut. I was doing it and then I think I did something wrong. But then when I opened up the install assistant, it just let me install it. But yeah, but basically, first of all, when I ran Monterey on the 2014 MacBook Pro, it was amazingly good. But then once I ran Ventura, I had a problem. It made everything small, like the screen was normal, but then, panels and stuff like that would be small, right? It would be it would be loading halfway through, and then it would all just shrink a little, right? But yeah. And then recently I discovered my dad's old Windows computer and it was insanely slow. So what I did was that I got rid of a lot of unnecessary files and I updated it. Now it is on Windows 7, but it can run Windows 10 perfectly. Right, so I did install Windows 10 on it, and then I continued updating it, and then once all the updates were finished, I checked again, boom, and then I tried to update it to Windows 11 using an unsupported method. It didn't work, but then I tried another way. Basically, what you have to do is that you have to have a USB drive that has Rufus on it. You have to have a USB drive, and you have to have Rufus, and then you should just follow the guide, right? I think I may be able to link it in the description, but yeah, I did, but when I tried to install it, it would say, oh, there's a problem, we don't know what it is, try again. And I tried 3 more times before giving up, and today I finally got it. So then when I installed Rufus, it was downloading Windows 11, right, and then it just got stuck at 46%. I googled it, and then I opened up CMD, right, and I ran it as an administrator, and I typed a command that checks for files, I think. So I just went to the bathroom, washed my hands, and I was like, hey, why not make a video while it's doing that? It's probably going to take a long time. It even said this may take a while. But yeah, so first of all, with MacBooks, my way isn't perfect. First of all, if you do want to upgrade an unsupported MacBook, like a 2014 one, to Ventura, well, first of all, upgrade the insides first, right? Like, first of all, when I went in Ventura, it was a little laggy, which is expected, but then when I screen recorded, it was so much more laggy, right? You could see that in the video. So yeah, what I would recommend doing is that I would just recommend opening it up, following a guide, and upgrading the CPU and memory and all that, upgrading that, and then try running it. Because so then that way, it's a lot easier because there's more memory, more power, stuff like that. But yeah. But one thing I do find kind of suspicious about Apple is that they're giving that up for now. Basically, macOS Ventura, it has a small supported lineup, right? Like, first of all, a lot of MacBooks, right, that was supposed to get 8 years of support, aka they were supposed to get macOS Ventura, are just not supported. More specifically, I think, is that the Intel ones are the ones who aren't getting Ventura. A lot of Intel MacBooks just aren't getting the newest macOS, even though they should still be supported. One of my friends has an Intel, a newer MacBook with an Intel chip inside, and I ran macOS Ventura my way, and it worked perfectly, right? So obviously, Apple is doing something fishy, right? Like, hey, it's supposed to still be supported, and I ran it, and it ran perfectly. So why aren't you supporting it? And the question and the answer I came up with is because Apple doesn't want Intel. Because the reason Apple even started making their own MacBook chips is because they just didn't like Intel. Their whole thing was that they were supposed to have scheduled dates for each product. That would be like somewhere in the months of the last one. But with the MacBooks, no one knew when they would be released. Not even Apple, because the only person who knew was Intel. Because Intel, a lot of times, would just suddenly be like, "Oh no, you need a delay, yeah, but it's the chip problems, right?" And even then, sometimes there would only be a 5% upgrade, which in Apple's eyes just wasn't enough. They didn't like the fact that they had to constantly keep on delaying the MacBook, and the MacBook only got a 5% speed boost. I mean, a chip boost. So then they started making their own chips. And Apple was a huge client of Intel because Intel literally made an entirely new ad campaign just to make fun of the MacBooks. So it was either to get people to switch to Intel, which you can't do. I don't think you should do. It can't even run Final Cut Pro. Well, most of them at least. Or to try and get Apple to switch back to Intel, but they are not doing that. So what I think Apple is trying to do is that Apple is actually trying to make it so then a lot of people, or almost everyone, switch to MacBooks with their chips, right? Which, like, Apple, why do you have to do that? We know you're patient, right? Why not just do this? Give the Intel Macs their full year of support, 8 years usually, right? And then when that's over, right, by the time all the Intel computers don't have any more support, right, then start discontinuing services, right? Like start making it so that older Intel MacBooks won't be able to log into iCloud, right? They won't be able to go into the App Store, and then start doing that with more and more Intels until all of them have that, and then just start discontinuing a lot of services for the Intel MacBooks, right? You can just say, hey, why should we keep up this entire server room for old MacBooks, right? When we could be spending that money to make it so that people who have the newer MacBooks, which is a lot of people compared to people who have older ones, their servers are faster and better. So that could be a reasoning. Hey, that's really old, right? Why would we spend keeping those servers up when we could just spend money on keeping the newer servers up for the newer MacBooks, right? And eventually, a lot of people would have to upgrade to the M1 MacBooks, right? Boom, you did it, right? Like, it just seems kind of like a douche move, but I can also understand it, right? I know why they don't want Intel to even have the W on that one, because they would keep on delaying the MacBooks and not giving them that much of an upgrade. But it's also kind of a douche move, so I would say Apple's kind of in the wrong, right? Like, I understand why they can do it, and it's kind of morally good, but on the other hand, hey, you're literally they aren't getting the years of support they were supposed to get. But yeah, as I was saying, if you do have an old MacBook and you do want to run a newer OS that's unsupported on it, then a lot of people should just suggest upgrading it. Not upgrading and replacing the entire thing, opening it up and replacing the chips and stuff like that, right? So then that way the software can run a lot more faster, right? So yeah. But that won't be happening for the newer MacBooks, because think about it, the newer MacBooks are really difficult to open up for the casual person, but the older MacBooks are easily able to be opened up, right? So eventually the M1 MacBooks will become old and they won't be supported, and while you can use the unsupported method, it won't be as fast as it can be because you can't upgrade it. Right? Because you'd have to take it to a third-party repair shop. They would have to charge money, and then they would upgrade it, charge more money, close it, and give it to you. Right? With older MacBooks, you can just open it up, upgrade it. With newer MacBooks, that's a lot harder. Right? So in the future, I don't think many casual people will be upgrading their older MacBooks to unsupported software because, hey, it's just laggy and it's insanely difficult to upgrade what's inside, right? And eventually the Intel MacBooks they just won't be able to keep on being upgraded, right? Eventually, there's going to be parts that you won't be able to change. You'd have to rewire a bunch of stuff, change a bunch of chipsets, do this, that can cost even more than a newer MacBook just to upgrade it, right? So then it can even handle it. But yeah, so I am worried about that, but I also do have a question. One, I use the unsupported method, roughest, and while it's downloading it, it's literally saying, oh, stuck at 46%. Now ignore the noise, ignore the noise, ignore the noise. I can show you, okay? Okay, Look, it's literally stuck at 46%. Windows 11 setup, getting updates. This may take a while. Checking for updates, 46%. Right? I don't know why it's doing that. It's been doing that for like an hour. I read online that when this happens to some people, they literally just have to leave it like that for like 8 hours, and then it continues on. So, but when I was selecting the version, it said Windows 2 Go or standard Windows 1. There was no option for an extended version, right? Extended Windows. But then when I did press go, then it was moving that green progress line. It said, oh, choose some stuff, and it was like, get rid of the TPM and unsupported stuff like that. So I thought, hey, that shouldn't be a problem, right? And also, my computer is up to date, if you do want to see, right? This thing is so old, but it is up to date. Look, it's literally up to date. I can show you. Look, lie below down the volume. It is laggy a lot, like I said. Give it a minute. This takes so long sometimes, but I swear from what I know, it's up to date. I literally spent the entire day of yesterday updating it. It can't even do that. I don't know why iCloud keeps on automatically opening up. I don't care. Okay, come on, close. Look, it just will not work sometimes. Look, settings. Look, give it a minute. Ek minute, mom. Look, okay, I press open. It opens up, right? Sorry, guys, ignore the noise. I really can't control that. So press open, right? It's gonna take a little while, right? Settings is opening up, right? Settings is opening up. Give it a minute. I'm so sorry this is taking so long. Look at this. It literally had Windows 7 before I upgraded it. Like, right? Right? It is taking an insanely long amount of time, though. right? Like an insane amount of time. Wait, why is that blinking like that? What? Nothing happened. Usually when that happens, something happens, but no, nothing literally happened. Okay, look. Now I go to updates and security. Give it a, oh, that option won't even work. It takes so long. एक minute, mom. एक minute. Liba, be quiet. Oh, it takes so long. Look, Windows update. Look, Windows update. Give it a minute. I know this is taking a long time. I deleted files and stuff, but there's a lot of business stuff on here, and I don't want my dad to be like, oh no, where'd it go? Oh, you're grounded. Right? So yeah, look, check for updates. I literally just checked it. Let's check for more updates. Checking for updates. Wait, what does that mean? Okay. 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 Right. It's taking so long. Let me just check on the setup process then. Yeah, it's still stuck at 46%. This may take a few minutes. It's literally been almost an hour. This is at 30%. I can kind of get it because, hey, it's this little Windows computer, right? But whenever I would try to install updates, official ones, it never took this long. Okay, look, checking for updates. Now, give it a minute, guys. I'm so sorry. Now, if the video does end, it's probably because of storage problems on my phone. I swear. Why is it taking so long? Oh, it's taking so long. It's still checking for updates. I don't know what this yellow thing means, though. Like, what does that mean? And it's still checking for updates. I know it's taking an insane amount of time. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just not working. But, yeah, you can literally see I literally just checked for the update for it. And it has no updates. Right? Right? So, yeah. It won't update, right? It's all up to date. I used the unsupported method. There was no extended Windows option. It was just a regular Windows install and Windows to go. And then it said, oh, do you want to privacy features, get rid of the TPM scanning thing or whatever? I clicked, yep. I did it. And then I pressed go. Boom, it did it. And then I went into the windows.iso file. I pressed setup. And then boom. But now we're just stuck at 46%. So I just think either it's stuck like this, and I'm going to have to try again tomorrow, or it's going to take an insane amount of time. But yeah, so if there are any tech geniuses, and if you're for some reason watching this video, could there be any possible way I can fix this without losing any data or anything like that? Right? And I don't have to take it to a shop or something. So yeah, please let me know. Yeah, bye.